What fun, right? What fun. Anti-racist organizing is fun. Congratulations to my colleagues for receiving recognition tonight. It's really a great thing. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, NASW, for lifting the work of undoing racism in our time, in our lifetime. You know, I'll accept this award on behalf of the Anti-Racist Alliance, and I'll take credit for one thing, and that's for staying on the case. But I'm not staying on the case alone. No. There are many founding members who stay on the case together, and they're here, and they're not here. There's Sue Taylor, there was Jane Edwards, Gail Golden from Rockland, Willie Evans, Nancy Petchett-Combs, Kay Griffin, Paula Miles, Aziza, Radcliffe, all of us staying on the case. Talk about commitment, staying on the case. Ron Chisholm. 36 years undoing racism. David was a recipient of the Citizen of the Year a few years ago, and he came here to help us organize this movement that is now 10 years old. And the fact that you both came from so far to be with us speaks to who you are, but also really speaks to why we love you so much. We're at a time of great change. The Occupy Wall Street movement is driving a call for change in this country. But you know what? It's not enough to call for organizing and inspiration. And you want to know why it's not enough? Because organizing on Occupy Wall Street doesn't really get to the heart of embedded racism. The disproportionality that it was there before Wall Street, the disproportionality that shows its ugly head in every single indice of life that we measure for health, education, and welfare in this country.
Yeah.
It's all about the hoodies. But it's really about the hoodies, isn't it? And you want to know what? Those boys. Trying to protect themselves. Trying to hide, trying to be safe. But there is nowhere to hide and there is nowhere to be safe. Trayvon Martin, DJ Henry, Pace University student killed. How about Mr. Chamberlain 2 months ago? 68 years old in his own home. Police went in and killed him. That police officer is still not in custody. Marley Graham chased into his home and in his bathroom killed while his mother and his 6-year-old brother watched. You know something? Even when these people are brought to justice, the job still isn't done. The problem still isn't corrected. These patterns of racism are embedded into every system and our entire culture. It's our socialization. It's running through the veins of our country. It's in us. It's not enough to be a well-intended person, because structural racism is baked into every institution where we work. Yes, even social work. Every single system. Outcomes disproportionate. Our profession prepares us to help those out there. The focus is always on people out there, in need, predominantly poor people, predominantly people of color. Services, more services. The problem never solves itself. We can all hear Ron Chisholm. People aren't poor because they need services. People are poor because they don't have power. After we do that undoing racism workshop, we all go, Right? We start thinking, So we start asking ourselves, how does my institution marginalize, invisibilize, exclude leadership of color? Who are the people of color who are not at this decision-making table? The mirror needs to turn towards us. And we need to become critical lovers of our institution, our practices, our theories, our models. Racism dehumanizes, and we see that dehumanization in outcomes. Karen Norman. Where are you, Karen? Child welfare, overpopulated with black babies. In Westchester County, 17% of the population is African American, yet they populate 70% of the child welfare system. Something's wrong. We are demanding that the institution of child welfare turn the mirror on itself, become a critical lover of itself, and to find out why is it that in Westchester County the children are removed at this rate. On your table there are sheets of paper for Karen is taking the lead on passing a real bill, Race Equity, Accountability, and Leadership for New York State. We are demanding that racism be systematically unearthed at every level of child welfare, and that we achieve fair, unbiased, and anti-racist intervention for all of our children. And in Texas, where they started doing this, all children benefited. All children benefit. White children, children of color too. Juvenile justice, overpopulated with black boys. The drug laws in this country serve to justify legalized discrimination and racial profiling. The police practices of stop and frisk. You see these buttons? It's a police practice. Stop and frisk to make marijuana arrests, intended to nip it in the bud. But you know what? They violate the civil rights of thousands and thousands and thousands of black boys. 600,000 in the past few years. To find a handful of people that really need to be prosecuted. Traumatizing to meet police quotas. We've got to know this. Maxine King, one of our organizers from Child Welfare. Maxine, are you here? Stand up. Mother of four. Saturday morning, looks out the window, sees her neighbor's child being stopped and frisked. She runs downstairs, tries to intervene. She's thrown to the ground, foot on her neck, face in the dirt, handcuffed and arrested. She got stopped and frisked trying to prevent one of her neighbor's kids being stopped and frisked. She has 4 kids. And all 4 of them have been stopped and frisked. Wear that button. Wear that button if you don't have the courage to put it somewhere to remind you of what we're talking about tonight. And when people ask you, what is that button about? Just say, you know, young black men are harassed by the police on a daily basis. An average of 20 times by the time a boy turns 17. 20 times. Handcuffed, booked, fined, identified, and put into the data bank. What data bank? My kid will never go into a data bank. Now that's a mental health issue. That's a mental health issue. And the system is sick, and that needs treatment. I want to listen in. Julie, Karen, and Dane Jones, leaders in our county, created the Westchester Network for Police Accountability. We are demanding that the police take a look at their practices, and we want police reform. They are driving these bags, and they are criminalizing our teenagers. Look, we can go on and on. This goes on and on. Structural racism drives it all. And those structures will change when we overpopulate them with anti-racist agents of change. That will change. Tonight we are celebrating 10 years of organizing. Who here has completed the Undoing Racism workshop? Yeah. We are the architects of the future. We are the architects of the new institutions. Undoing Racism has returned our humanity, and we work in those institutions. We are anti-racist clinicians, therapists, case managers, program directors, CEOs, educators. Ron and David, do you really embrace what's going on here? The family that has been created and inspired and transformed by the work of Undoing Racism. Your 36 years has not been lost. As I look at this family, I see in my own family, my husband Undoing Racism in faith communities. My children Undoing Racism in parenting, Erica in education. Oh my God, as I look over there, mental health services, radical models for treating children with respect, accountability for parents, and empowering people who've been disempowered. Back there, child welfare workers in the state who are not going to stop until we transform these institutions. Karen Norman is a leader. Maxine King, students all over the place. Over here, look at Westchester County. We have leaders that have been with us from the very beginning. Look at Rockland over here. Rockland, and we have, Cynthia, you should be here too. Anti-Racist Alliance, Connecticut. Anti-Racist Alliance, Rockland County. Westchester County. Undoing racism has become a way of life for us. Undoing racism is a good way to live. It all starts with a workshop. Experience it. Join us. Thank you.
Lots of recognition and plaques for all our winners tonight, and I hope everyone is working out to carry all these home. Sandy, this is from NASW Social Worker of the Year Award to Sandra Burnedy, LCSW, in recognition of your commitment to excellence in practice and advocacy for the needs of your clients. New York State Chapter, Westchester Division, NASW. Everything.
Eddie, we need a bigger house.
These are proclamations from the Board of Legislators, the County Executive Office. Okay. And let's see what else. This is from Andrea Stewart-Cousins. Certificate of Achievement presented by Nita Lowey's office.
I just want to say, these nights are so important. As a result of these awards, the Anti-Racist Alliance has entree to these officials. And I already have an appointment with 2 officials that came here tonight left to talk about the Chamberlain case. We have to be awarded and lift the work so that we can have access. So I just really want to thank you.